Have you ever watched an adult completely regress into a spoiled toddler in a matter of seconds? Or maybe you've noticed that flash of cold rage ignite in your partner's or boss's eyes when things don't go exactly according to their plan. There is one word, just 3 letters, but for a person with narcissistic personality disorder, hearing this word feels like a death sentence. This word shatters their illusion of omnipotence and triggers a reaction you will never forget. Today, we're going to talk about the one thing a narcissist will never forgive you for. We will analyze the weapon that every single one of you possesses, but which many are too afraid to use. Ready to hear the truth that might just change your life? Let's dive in. Before we reveal this word and learn how to wield it, let's quickly understand who exactly we are dealing with. A narcissist isn't just someone who likes looking in the mirror. They are an individual whose inner self is so incredibly fragile that it requires constant external nourishment. Picture a balloon that is constantly deflating. To stay inflated and appear powerful, the narcissist needs a continuous flow of validation of their significance, power, and control. This is what's known as narcissistic supply. As long as you agree, nod along, and shower them with admiration, you are their perfect power source. You are the pump that keeps their ego afloat. But what happens when that pump stops working? Their entire structure is instantly jeopardized. And that is exactly where our secret weapon comes into play. So let's pull back the curtain. The absolute worst word for a narcissist, the word they hate to their very core, is no. It sounds so simple, so mundane. We say no to persistent salespeople, or when we're offered food we don't want. But for a narcissist, no isn't a simple refusal. It's not just you saying you don't want to go to the movies or handle that extra task for them. For them, no is the denial of their very existence. When you utter no, you are communicating a terrifying truth. You are not the one in charge. You do not control me. Your desires are not the fundamental law of the universe. This is a direct hit to the false self they have painstakingly constructed over years. Imagine building a meticulous house of cards and someone simply breathes on it. Your single no is that gust of wind. Now let's take a deep dive into the psychology of this moment. Why does this hurt them so much? This phenomenon is known as narcissistic injury. A normal person who hears no might get upset. That's a normal reaction. But they understand that the other person is a separate entity with their own needs and boundaries. A narcissist, however, doesn't see you as an individual. They see you only as an extension of themselves, like an arm or a leg. Imagine if your own right hand suddenly refused to pick up a cup of coffee when you commanded it to. Would you panic? Would you be enraged? Would you instantly think you were going insane? This is exactly what the narcissist feels the moment you set a boundary. For them, this is a glitch in the matrix. You, their reliable tool, have suddenly developed free will. This triggers a profound, almost primal shame within them, a shame they instantly transform into explosive rage. Let's discuss the first reaction. The moment you utter that forbidden word, brace yourself for shock. Very often, narcissists simply don't register the word no the first time around. They might completely ignore it and continue the conversation as if you had already agreed. This isn't a hearing issue. It's a deep-seated defense mechanism, denial. Their brain literally blocks any information that conflicts with their specific worldview. For example, you might say, "No, I actually can't lend you that money." And the narcissist will instantly reply, "Perfect, just transfer it to me first thing tomorrow morning." This tactic can be extremely disorienting. You'll start to doubt whether you were clear enough or if you even said no at all. But make no mistake, they heard you. They are simply giving you a second chance to correct your mistake and play the role they assigned you. At this critical moment, it is vital that you do not back down. Repeat the refusal immediately. Once the denial stage passes and the narcissist realizes you actually mean business, the switch flips to full-blown rage. This doesn't always involve screaming or breaking things, though sometimes it absolutely does. Narcissistic rage can often be cold and calculated. Their sole focus now is punishing you for daring to defy them. They must regain control, no matter the cost. Imagine a toddler throwing a fit in a toy store because their mum told them no. They drop to the floor and start kicking. The narcissist does the exact same thing, but they use adult tools to do it. You might be accused of selfishness, of being ungrateful, of destroying the family, or letting the team down. Their objective is to induce such intense guilt that you rush back to apologize and give them exactly what they want, just to make the nightmare stop. Let's look at one of the most common manipulations a narcissist uses in response to the word no. This technique is often called the verbal salad. The narcissist starts talking so much, so fast, and so confusingly that you completely lose the thread of the conversation. They'll dredge up mistakes you made 10 years ago. They'll switch the topic from your current request to that one time you forgot to buy groceries. They use sophisticated-sounding words, philosophical concepts, and outright faulty logic. And the entire goal of this stream of consciousness is to wear you down. They want your brain to simply shut off from the overload, forcing you to say, "Fine, just stop talking." This is a battle of attrition. If you notice the conversation is going completely off the rails and you no longer understand what you're even arguing about, know that this is entirely intentional. They are trying to drown your no in a vast sea of nonsense. Another favorite tactic? Playing the victim. Oh, narcissists are the undisputed masters of this craft. The moment you try to set a boundary, they instantly morph into the most miserable person on earth. They hit you with lines like, "I do absolutely everything for you, I lose sleep at night, and you can't even do this one little thing for me." Suddenly they might clutch their chest, their blood pressure might spike, or they're completely overwhelmed by depression. They are masterful manipulators of pity, and if you're an empathetic person, which, let's face it, the targets of narcissists usually are, you fall right into the trap. You immediately start feeling ashamed that you drove them to this state. But remember this, it is all a performance. Behind the scenes of this theatre, there is no genuine pain, only the cold calculation needed to regain control over your behavior. Do not buy a ticket to this show. When pity and rage fail, the narcissist pulls the gaslighting card from their sleeve. They will try to convince you that you never said no, or that you clearly meant the opposite of what you stated. Or, even worse, they'll claim you don't have the right to say no because you are somehow unfit or emotionally unstable. They'll use lines like, "You seem really jumpy today," "It must be your hormones talking," or "You're just tired and don't know what you're saying." They are trying to make you doubt your ability to think rationally. This is a terrifying tactic because it fundamentally undermines your trust in your own reality. You start to wonder, maybe I am overreacting, maybe I'm being too harsh. Stop right there. This is a trap. Your right to say no doesn't depend on your mood, your hormones, or how tired you are. It is your fundamental, basic right. But what happens when you say no in the realm of intimacy or closeness? This is an especially vulnerable area for them. For a narcissist, the refusal of sex or physical intimacy isn't simply viewed as a lack of desire on your part. They see it as a direct insult to their desirability, their masculinity, or their femininity. This is where their reaction can be particularly cruel and vicious. They might start openly flirting with others right in front of you, purely to incite jealousy and prove that they are, quote-unquote, in demand. They might start unfavorably comparing you to their ex-partners, or they might deploy the boycott tactic, punishing you by withholding all physical contact, even simple hugs or comfort. This is a form of conditioning or training. The message is clear. If you don't give me what I want, I will withhold every ounce of warmth and affection from you. Let's talk about the financial no. For a narcissist, money is often just a tool for control and power. When you refuse to fund their ideas, lend them cash, or spend money the way they demand, you effectively shut off the faucet of their entitlement. Narcissists genuinely believe that your resources are their resources. They live by the motto, "Our money is my money, and your money is definitely my money too." So when you say, "No, I won't buy you that expensive toy," or "No, I'm not investing in that dubious business venture. They interpret it as theft. In their mind, you have stolen something that rightfully belongs to them. Be ready for accusations of being greedy, shallow, or lacking love. After all, in their world, love is measured solely by how much you are willing to spend on them. A crucially important tactic is triangulation. When your simple no proves strong enough to withstand the narcissist's initial pressure, they immediately call in the cavalry. They bring in third parties, often called flying monkeys. This could be your mother, mutual friends, or even your own children. They'll start spreading malicious stories, framing themselves as the victim. Can you believe it? I just asked them for one small favor, and they flat out refused. What kind of person does that? They deliberately create a negative public consensus against you. They want you to feel isolated, like an outcast. Peer pressure is an incredibly potent force. When a mutual friend calls you up and says, "Come on, stop being stubborn, why don't you just help them out?" holding your ground becomes exponentially harder. The narcissist knows this. They use other people's hands to strangle your resistance. It's a low blow, a dirty tactic, but brutally effective. The most important thing to remember here is this. These allies only know the single version of the story, the one that has been carefully twisted and distorted by the narcissist. Often, a firm no is met with complete, deafening silence. This is commonly known as withholding, or more simply, the silent treatment. The narcissist simply stops speaking to you. They look right through you, treating you as if you are completely invisible or a ghost. They might respond in monosyllables or not at all. This crushing silence can drag on for days, even weeks. The sole purpose of this torture is to make you feel utterly worthless, a non-entity whose existence doesn't matter. They want you to crawl back, begging for forgiveness just so they will finally speak to you again. Many people break down at this stage because social isolation inside your own home is an unbearable form of psychological pressure. But if you realize that this is nothing more than manipulation, the adult equivalent of a childish tantrum, it becomes much easier to withstand the silence. But why is this one little word so incredibly difficult to say? Why does your tongue freeze up when you try? That's because narcissists have spent a long time and a lot of effort conditioning you. It's essentially the psychological equivalent of Pavlov's dog. You've been trained to expect a reward, or at least the absence of punishment when you agree, and immediate pain when you refuse. You don't fear the word no itself. You fear the consequences. You fear the massive argument. You fear the freezing silence. You fear the terrifying realization that you might be seen as the bad guy. The narcissist successfully installed a core program in your mind. Your needs don't matter. Only what I want matters. To start successfully saying no, you first need to hack that core programming. You must fully internalize the fact that you are not responsible for the emotions of another adult human being. Their anger is their problem, not your fault. Here's an interesting fact about manipulators. Narcissists often try to flip your no into a yes using subtle persuasion tactics. First, they might use the foot in the door strategy. They start with a tiny request, something that's easy to say yes to. Once you agree to that small commitment, they start piling on the bigger requests, escalating the demands rapidly. Or they use the opposite, the door-in-the-face technique. They hit you with a massive, unreasonable ask, get an immediate rejection, and then follow up with what they actually wanted. The second request seems like a minor compromise compared to the initial huge demand. For example, buy me a car. No? Fine. Then just get me a new phone. You agree to the phone, feeling relieved that you successfully dodged the car, but the truth is the phone was the objective all along. Be vigilant. If you sense manipulation or pressure, your no needs to be absolutely firm and final. So, what is the right way to say no to a narcissist? Rule number 1, never offer justifications or excuses. Never. The moment you start explaining your refusal, saying, I can't, I don't have the money, or I just don't have the time, you give the narcissist leverage. they will instantly find a solution to dismantle your objection. No money? Get a loan. No time? Just cancel your other plans. To them, your arguments are simply hurdles they need to jump over. The most powerful no is the simplest, just no. Or maybe, no, that won't work for me. No explanations. No apologies. This instantly stops them dead in their tracks because they have nothing to engage with or use to initiate an argument. It's a complete brick wall, and that is exactly the boundary you need to establish. Brace yourself. When you start consistently saying no, the relationship will escalate dramatically. This is called the extinction burst. Imagine a vending machine that eats your coin but doesn't drop the soda can. What do? First, you press the button again, then you press it harder. Finally, you start shaking the machine and kicking it. The narcissist is exactly that vending machine. When their usual buttons stop working, they start shaking you violently. They will deploy every method simultaneously, alternating between flattery and threats, love and hate. This is the most dangerous moment, but it is also the clearest sign that your strategy is working. They are in a panic. They are losing control. If you stand firm through this storm, you will win. During this period, the grey rock technique is extremely useful. When you say no and the narcissist launches into their emotional storm, you need to become as dull and unremarkable as a grey rock on the side of the road. Do not react emotionally. Do not defend yourself. Respond monotonously, briefly, and with zero interest. Use short, boring phrases like, "I understand that you're upset. It's a shame you feel that way. My answer is still no." Do not give them emotional fuel. The narcissist feeds on your fear or your anger. If all you give them is boredom and firm resolve, they will eventually lose interest. Why kick a vending machine that doesn't even rattle? They will move on to find an easier target, another source of supply that will give them the reaction they crave. The word no is your best early warning system for detecting narcissism. If you're just starting to see someone and want to screen them for toxic traits, try giving them a small, low-stakes refusal. Tell them you can't meet tonight, or maybe suggest you don't like the restaurant they picked. Then watch their reaction carefully. A healthy individual will simply say, "Okay, no problem, maybe next time." A narcissist, even deep in the honeymoon phase, will give you a tell, a micro-reaction, a shadow of annoyance that crosses their face, a sarcastic comment, or persistent attempts to guilt you into changing your mind. That is a massive, blinding red flag. If someone can't respect your small no now, they will never respect your big no down the line. It's crucial to understand that when you say no to a narcissist, you are simultaneously saying yes to yourself. Every boundary you set is an act of reclaiming territory, a piece of your spirit, your very soul. You remember who you are. You begin to honor and respect yourself again. And, ironically, this is the only way to force a narcissist to take you seriously. They despise those they can control, and they secretly fear those they cannot break. Your firm no won't suddenly turn your relationship warm and loving. That outcome is simply impossible. But it will make things safe for you. It will transform you from a victim into a fortress, a stronghold that can never be breached. But tread carefully. Some types of narcissists require immediate flight. You simply have to get away from them. If your no results in threats of physical violence, stalking, or life-threatening situations, no amount of negotiation techniques will help you here. In these cases, your no must be the sound of a final goodbye. Go total no contact. Block them everywhere. Disappear off their radar completely. Sometimes the only no a person like this understands is your complete absence from their life. Don't try to rehabilitate them by constantly refusing their requests. Your primary job is to save yourself, not to cure their disorder. Remember, boundaries aren't established to change someone else. They are there solely to protect you. And here is the most important thing to remember. A narcissist will never forgive your independence. They will hold on to that rejection forever and look for any chance to retaliate. But don't let that intimidate you. Their inability to forgive you is actually the clearest validation of your independence. If the narcissist is angry with you, it means you are doing everything right. It means you have successfully broken free of their control. Let them rage. Let them plot their schemes. Your strength now lies in the fact that you no longer need their approval. The word no severs the umbilical cord they used to drain the life right out of you. Hold on to that word. Practice it in the mirror. Say it out loud. It is your sword and your shield. And we've covered a lot of ground today, diving deep into the anatomy of refusal. Now you understand that for a narcissist, the word no isn't just a sound, it's a direct hit to their most sensitive spot, their bloated yet profoundly empty ego. You've learned why they react with rage, manipulation, and the silent treatment. But most importantly, you now grasp this fundamental truth: their reaction is not your fault. It is a symptom of their disorder. By using no as a tool, you stop being a convenient resource and become a person they have to take seriously and reckon with. Yes, it won't be easy. Things will get turbulent. But the peace and self-respect you will find on the other side are absolutely worth the struggle. Thank you for watching this video until the very end. I truly hope this equips you with the strength to finally set that boundary you've been meaning to establish. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future episodes. Give this video a like. It helps other people find this crucial information. Now, I have a question for you. What was the craziest reaction you've ever faced after telling someone no? Share your story in the comments below and let's discuss this together. See you in the next video.